Journey to Lemora, Chapter 19, School of Magic. We waited at the roots of the great oak for Lelian, and Shayla still hadn't returned yet. To our delight, our little blossoms, Niha, Asna, and Keen, were waiting there for us. We sat down next to them. "I didn't come back yesterday because Mama says it's dangerous at night," Niha quivered. "That's okay. I don't want you in danger either." "Is the great oak your mama?" I asked. "Yes. You're funny. Mama Atasa is everyone's mama," Niha giggled, and her bluish petals did a little twitch. "If you're born from the same tree, are you all family?" I asked Niha, but to my surprise, Lelian answered. "Mother Atasa has been around long before we emerged in this world. It is said the first Fayelarians were born from the seeds of this very tree." She spoke aloud with a misty voice, and her beautiful blue and green robes were trailing behind her. We bowed to each other, and then sat back down in the smooth grass next to our blooms. "We are related in the same way your kind is to other flesh and bone creatures of the world. Born of the same place, but essentially different," she explained, and I went violet red with embarrassment. "I understand we must seem strange to you. Anu told us you come from beyond the sacred realm." It took Catherine a while to understand our ways, too. "What was she like?" I asked curiously. "When I first met her, she was just a young woman on her pilgrimage to become guardian. The spirit key chose her, just as it chose you. Back then, the masters of spirit magic came from Aloria. She didn't need a mentor for it, but she did need one for wood magic. She came here to train, and her attitude was a bit pompous and spoiled. Your mother was very formidable, but so was I. We had a sort of rivalry at first. We fought all the time, but the time she had to leave for the next school of magic, we were best friends." Lelian smiled fondly. "Was that the last time you saw her?" "No. She came back many years later. There were some complications. She was being hunted by someone. She wouldn't say who. Apparently there was a large bounty for her in Aloria. I wish I knew what became of her." We both sat in silence for a moment. I imagined my mother in her youth, training and battling against a younger Lelian in the woods. It was strange. I had never noticed Mom didn't talk about her childhood to me before. She was such an enigma. But I just got a couple more pieces to her strange puzzle. She wasn't only from Lemora, she was an Alorian. Her own people wanted her dead. But why? Wasn't she their keyholder guardian? What did she do? Just then, a mother and her 2 children approached Lelian hesitantly. They stared a sidelong glance at me and spoke quickly in Fayelarian. "Alahar, Sha'umal Nabir, Aloria Nakar." I couldn't understand what they were saying, but I did understand their body language. The mother felt threatened by outsiders, and she kept herself between us and her children. At first I felt offended, but then I remembered we look exactly like the people the Fayelarians are at war with. We look like the Alorians. I am half Alorian. A cold chill prickled down my spine as Lelian reassured the mother, who stalked away angrily. "Our language barrier is a problem. We have much to gain from each other, but I would ask you to learn our language. It would help gain the trust of my people," Lelian beseeched us imploringly. Although Lelian and her apprentice Shayla knew our language, it wasn't so with most of the Fayelarians. We were living with their people, so it only made sense that we adapted to them, and we agreed to learn the Fayelarian language first. As it turned out, we had been speaking small phrases of Fayelarian this whole time. The Fayelarians are deeply rooted in Lemora, and were the first to understand the incantations of magic. They shared the gift of listening with the other peoples of the world, who adapted their own ways of channeling magic. It was only after the first wave of wars between the different countries that the Fayelarians became mistrustful of outsiders. A peace accord was struck by the White Queen of Eloria, and each country selected an honorary knight to learn all the ways of magic to maintain balance in the kingdoms. That was the beginning of the Keyholder Guardians, and peace was had for many years. It had all changed one fateful day after the White Queen fell and the magic was corrupted. The spread of Umbra was epidemic, and one by one the Keyholder Guardians fell as well. Now it was up to us to reform the order, and this was our first step. I was surprised to see they had a rather beautiful written language, which they wrote on scrolls made of thinly stretched animal hide. It felt like we were going to kindergarten all over again, practicing our letters and saying them out loud. Some of the older children came and taught us songs to make them easier to learn. Ara kafe jor mirsa, ale ore haratan. We found ourselves laughing with them and genuinely enjoying the lesson. Our blooms helped us with colors too. Niha was short for Niharia, which meant blue, matching her cute blue petals. Asna said Ashta for white petals, and Keen said Raija for red. Other blooms of different colors joined the fun, and they made a game of it. By mid-afternoon, Shayla had finally returned, and she brought us 3 bundles. She gave us each one, making sure that the one she gave Nick was the larger bundle. They were filled with brown tunics like her own, light leather pants, a leather vest, a belt, a pair of gloves, and boots each. The tunics had wide-brimmed hoods sewn in the back, and the material was surprisingly light and comfortable. You look good, like one of our own. You will be needing that armor when we practice wood magic, she nodded approvingly. The color makes me look fat, Amber groaned, and I rolled my eyes. Thank you, Shayla, Nick and I said together. You know how to summon seedlings. This is good. Now you channel magic to them. They start small, but over time they will grow big enough to aid you. Forest familiars can make food for you, take you places, and protect you from Ahalaris. How you say enemy. Their strengths come from you. If you forget them, they will grow weak, Shayla explained, summoning her own violet bloom. This is my good friend Fayellar. He is my familiar. I show you great wood magic, so you can see the strength of a real bond. She channeled her magic, and before our eyes the bloom grew into a majestic stag, made of twisting vines. The vines had thorns all over its antlers, and there were little violet blooms scattered across its body and down its spine. She pet the stag on the muzzle, and then climbed onto its back. She pulled away a vine which she used as reins, and together they bounded through the grove. She cried out a Fey word we hadn't learned yet, Ripsha, and a vine whipped out. She grabbed the vine, and it became rigid and snapped off. She knocked this arrow into her bow and shot it at a tree 10 yards away. We got up and looked closer and saw her arrow had pinned a large winged insect to the tree. We clapped, completely awed and inspired, as she trotted up to us on Fayellar. She was grinning, pointed ear to pointed ear. These arrows are not as fine as the ones we craft ourselves, but they are nice when you run out, she panted, climbing down. Thank you, Fayellar. The great vine-woven stag unraveled, shrinking back into the ground. That was amazing, Nick cheered. How long did it take you to do that? Amber asked. I have given magic to Fayellar since I was just a sapling at 1 year old, and I trained with him every day, Shayla replied confidently, and we looked skeptically at each other. I don't think we're going to reach that level of skill before we return home, Amber laughed. Yes, you are not of Lemora. Lillian told me about this earth. She dreams of it sometimes. I knew a boy once who, not adore. She trailed off, a distant look in her eye. We're going off our task. Let us do some basic things. Summon fruit to eat, or make a vine trap, Shayla reckoned. We spent the rest of the daylight learning incantation words for our forest familiars. We channeled magic to them, and they grew the slightest bit bigger. Mine managed to summon a single berry. It wasn't exactly a feast, but I was proud of Neha nonetheless. I'm so bad at this, Amber laughed to Nick and I. Her familiar had failed to produce anything. Wood magic takes time. Even I am still learning, Shayla said encouragingly. You're not a master? Nick asked, surprised. Not yet. I have not earned my mark. Someday soon I hope to earn it and prove myself to my people. My master tells me to have faith. We are still green and growing, Shayla explained as she summoned up vines and broke it into a spear. The armor indeed came in handy when Shayla had us spar against each other with vines we summoned to use as weapons. By the time we were finished, we were exhausted, but we still had our spirit magic training to do.
Hello, my name is Ella, and welcome to my channel. Here I'll be sharing with you my stories, artwork, animations. If you enjoy my content, please support me by clicking the like button, subscribing, sharing, or ringing the bell for notifications. Links to my website and social media are below. I will be releasing content in sequential order, so please check for new chapters each week.